We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Welcome you all in the session of reliability and validity. In this session, we are going to discuss what is reliability and validity, and we will discuss different methods of reliability and validity. So, basically, the reliability and validity are used to evaluate the quality of the research. So for the scale evaluation, first we need to check the reliability and the validity of the scale. If scale is reliable, if scale is validate, we can able to use it for the further research. If we talk about the reliability, so basically the reliability is all about the consistency of the result. Reliability, basically 3 methods of the reliability is that test, retest, alternative forms and internal consistency. We will discuss later on. If we talk about the validity, basically the validity is related to the accuracy of the result, and it is related to whatever we want to measure, whether we are measuring the same thing or not. So if we talk about the validity, 3 type of validity is there: content, criterion and construct. And further, for the construct, 3 type of construct validity is there: convergent, discriminant and nomological. So basically in this session we are going to discuss in detail about what is reliability, validity and the different methods of reliability and the validity. First we are going to discuss about reliability. Reliability, that I have already said. So reliability is all about the consistency. Consistency means if every time we are able to get the same result, then we can say that scale or the instrument is a consistent. For example, if we talk about the reliability, then we take example of the thermometer. If you will measure the temperature and every time if the thermometer show the same temperature, it will give us the same result every time, then we can say that the thermometer is reliable. But if we are measuring the temperature using thermometer and every time it will show us a different temperature, then we will not rely on the thermometer. Same thing, for example, faculty want to understand the IQ level of the students. Faculty has developed the one question paper and they have given to the students. Repeatedly, if faculty is taking the response or measuring the response or measuring the IQ level of the student using the same instrument, if students every time able to give a same answer, every time if students are able to get approximately same result, we can say that whatever the question paper that we have used, which is reliable, right? So basically the reliability which is related to the consistency of the result. If we are able to get the consistent result, we can say that it is reliable. If we want to measure the reliability, then these are the different methods of measuring the reliability. Is that first method is test and retest reliability. If we talk about test and retest reliability, taken responses from same respondent using same questionnaire. If respondent has given approximately same answer, which indicate high test and retest reliability. So here, repeated measure of the same person or the group using same instrument is done. If every time if we are able to get the same response, or if there is a high correlation between the score of two results, then we can say that it is a taste retest reliability. For taste and retest reliability, we are using the same instrument, we are using the same person, and repeatedly we are taking a response from them. If high correlation between the two responses, then we can say that it is a taste retest reliability is there. If we talk about the alternative forms reliability, in this case, alternative forms reliability, basically two equivalent forms of the scale or construct has been developed. In this case, if I want to understand the impulsive buying tendency of the respondent, I have developed two separate questionnaires which measure the impulsive buying tendency of the respondent. And for one time, I have taken a responses using questionnaire 1. For second time, I will take a responses using questionnaire 2, and I will check the correlation between the responses that I am getting from questionnaire 1 and responses that I am getting from questionnaire 2. If I will found the high correlation between the score or the result, then I can say that it is a reliable. So in this we will develop two different instrument taking a response at a different time period, and will check the correlation. If high correlation found, then it is reliable. Next is split half reliability. In split half reliability, the item on the scale are divided into two halves. Same example. For example, I have developed one questionnaire which will measure the impulsive buying tendency. If I am using the split half reliability, I will divide my questionnaire into two parts, and after that I will check the correlation between two parts. If the high correlation is found between these two parts, then we can say that it is a reliable. So in a split half, the instrument is divided in a two parts, and after that the responses has been measured. After that correlation has been found. If high correlation is there between two scores, then we can say that it is reliable. Another method that we can able to use, which is of the coefficient of the alpha. For that we will use the Cronbach alpha. In Cronbach alpha, the coefficient is vary between 0 to 1. If coefficient score is greater than zero point 0.6, then we can say that it is reliable. If coefficient score is less than 0 0.6, then we can say that it's not reliable. So basically up to this we have discussed what is reliability, and we have discussed the different methods of the reliability. Next we will move further towards the validity. If we talk about the validity, so validity basically refers to the measure what we want to measure. Validity is also refers to the accuracy. Validity is the extent to which survey measure the right elements that need to be the measured. Example of the validity. For example, we have developed a questionnaire for measuring the customer satisfaction. So basically validity explain whether all the questions which will measure the same thing, means which will measure the customer satisfaction, or they are measuring some different parameters. So this is known as a validity. If we talk about the validity, basically three type of validity which is there. Content validity is there, criterion validity is there, and construct validity is there. So basically three type of validity is there: content, criterion, and construct. First, we will talk about the content validity. So basically, the content validity is researchers simply look at the item on the research instrument and give their opinion. If the item appears to accurately measure what they are trying to measure. So in this case, researcher go through the questionnaire, will look at the content that they are using, and based upon that they will check whether it will measure the same content or whether it will measure the different content. So this is come under the content validity. If we talk about the criterion validity, that we will discuss afterwards. If we talk about the construct validity, so basically the construct validity address the question of what construct or characteristics the scale is in fact measuring. Construct validity is further divided in three parts. First is convergent validity, discriminant validity, and nomological validity. If we first we will discuss the convergent validity. So convergent validity is extent to which the scale correlates positively with other measure of the same construct or not. Here the example of convergent validity is given. For example, one thing is their self-esteem construct. This is a variable. To measure the self-esteem, we have developed the four questions. Question 1, item 2, item 3 and item 4. Using these four items or four questions, we can able to measure the self-esteem. And here we have calculated the correlation between the different questions or different items, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. Here you can see that the correlation between item 1 and item 2 is 0.83, 1 and 3 is 0.89, and 1 and 4 is 0.91. Same way, 2 and 1 is 0.83, 0.83, 0.85 and 0.90. So here we can say that the high correlation between all the questions or all the items. So basically the convergent validity means if measures are theoretical related to each other, high correlation should be observed between them. If they are correlated with each other, then we can say that it is convergent valid. Here one another example which is given: the high correlation with other scale designed to measure self-concept and reported the classification by friends. Another example, let's say for example, I want to measure the impulsive buying tendency, and for that I have developed the four questions. First, I need to check whether convergent valid is not. So in this case, if I will found high correlation between these four questions, I can say that this scale is convergent valid. Next, we will move further towards the discriminant validity. So discriminant means it is differ. There should be a difference. There should be a low correlation. So if we talk about the discriminant validity, it is the extent to which a measure does not correlate with other construct from which it is supposed to be differ. Here the example of the discriminant validity which is given. Here we want to measure the two things. One which is of the self-esteem, and second that I want to measure which is of the locus of control. To measure the self-esteem, I have asked two questions. One which is SE1 and SE2. And to measure the locus of control, I have asked two questions. One is LOC1 and LOC2. So using these two questions, we can able to measure the self-esteem. Using location 1 and LOC2, we can able to measure the locus of construct. Self-esteem and the locus of construct both are a different thing. So there should be a low correlation between SC1 and LOC1, SC1 and LOC2, SC2 and LOC1, SC2 and LOC2. Here we can say that the correlation between SC1 and LOC1 is 0.12, SC1 and LOC2 is 0.09, SC2 and LOC1 is 0.04. So here we can see that very low correlation which is observed between two different constructs. Then we can say that these two are a discriminant valid, means if construct are not theoretical related with each other, they should be different and the low correlation should be observed, then we can say that it is a discriminant valid. Next, we will move further towards the nomological validity. If we talk about the nomological validity, it is the extent to which the scale correlating theoretically predicted way with measure of different but related construct. Here, the example of the nomological validity which is given. Suppose I want to measure the intention for purchasing a prestige brand. So theoretically, the purchasing of the prestige brand, which is related to the status and the materialism. So high correlation should be found between the prestige and the status, prestige and the materialism. But prestige brand is not related to the price sensitivity, so it should be the negative correlation should be found between the price sensitivity and the prestige of the brand. So this is come under the nomological validity. If we will move further towards the criterion validity, so criterion validity measures how well one measure predict an outcome for another measures. Here the example of the criterion validity is given. Based upon the entry test result, if we can able to predict the performance of the employee, then we can say that it is a criterion valid. So here two different measures which is there. If we can able to predict the result of different construct based upon the performance in a first measure, then we can say that it is a criterion valid. Another example of criterion validity is given. Based upon the job applicant takes a performance test, and based upon the result of the performance test, if we can able to predict the performance of the employee, then we can say that it is a criterion valid. For any, let's say for example, if any students want to take admission in MBA, for that we are taking a CMAT test. So based upon the score of the CMAT test, if we can able to predict the performance of the student in MBA, then we can say that it is criterion valid. Thank you.